Almost summertime.
Yeah.
Rolling into summer.
It went by quick because we had such a bullshit winter. It never snowed.
Well, that's what we're rolling. Let's roll. That's it. We're opening. That's the open. Weather talk on the Danny Picard show. No, I think we're going to get, I want to be Debbie Downer to begin the show and start off, glass half empty. But I think because of the winter we just had, where we had no snow, even like the last 2 winters, I think we've only had like one snowstorm.
Yeah, it was.
We're due for a bad summer.
Doesn't it feel like that? That's being Irish, though. Like, you're like, this was too good.
That's an Irish thing?
No, this is Irish because it was too good, so you punitively think something bad's going to happen now. You're like, it was too good. We had it too easy.
Yeah, everything's going to even out at some point.
Yeah.
Especially with the weather. But no, I do think, like, we've had summers where the month of June is just cold and rainy, and I'm completely expecting that. But anyways, it would be a lot better if we could have a month of June with an NBA championship.
Yeah.
Will that happen? Well, since the last time we talked, now the Celtics are in the Eastern Conference Finals, but they're down 3-1. It could have been a sweep, but it's not a sweep. The Celtics prevented a sweep. I'm trying to think what we should open with. Probably with that, though, stick around because I do have thoughts on Tom Brady becoming an owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. It's going to make the Thank You Tom game a whole lot more interesting, I think, at Gillette Stadium, huh?
It's going to be a little more...
The Thank You Tom game?
A little more uncomfortable.
So I have some thoughts on that. I don't think a lot of people are going to agree with me on that, but I think you know where I'm going. We'll save it. And I have thoughts on WWE Night of Champions this weekend. There is a storyline for Roman Reigns. We've talked a lot about Roman Reigns on the show, so we got to continue to follow up with that. I think it's an interesting story that they have him in now, and maybe we'll try to pick that apart and see where they could swerve us next. So we'll get into that, but let's open with Celtics. I mean, hey, the NBA is not as rigged as we thought because the Lakers got swept. We sat here and thought in the second round, we're talking going, the refs are going to set this up. The league is going to set this up for Celtics-Lakers in the finals.
It felt like
right?
that.
Or even Lakers-Heat because of LeBron's history with the Miami Heat, winning championships with Miami, But they didn't do that. The Lakers got swept, and I was shocked. Here's what I'm actually shocked most about with that Lakers-Nuggets series. And we kind of implied this, I think, on the last show, saying that, when do we really get to watch the Denver Nuggets? Not much. When they are on, they're on late night, and I'm not really staying up to watch that.
And everybody does. Everybody has the exact same thing. So even analysts, they've never seen them either. So as soon as you come in, anything can happen.
Yeah, they're just watching the highlights. But when you watch a full Nuggets game, I've watched them now a little bit throughout the playoffs before their series with the Lakers. And then I watched the first couple series in full against the Lakers, and I'm going, the Nuggets are just a powerhouse. Who's going to stop them?
It must have been a friggin' joy to watch, too.
Yeah. Murray, Jokic, I mean, and they even have other guys like Porter Jr., you forget about him. I mean, I think he was going to be the number 1 overall pick, and then he banged up his knee. And, they have some other players there that you just watch the Nuggets play, and you're going, I don't know who's going to stop them. And they sweep the Lakers. Lakers had a chance to win a game or two. Couldn't pull through. It looks like LeBron is at the end of his career, right? It looks like that. I don't know what he's going to do moving forward. There are rumors that he might sit out and then join a team and have, hold that team hostage to sign his son, and then they play together. But at that point, it's like, I don't know.
We said it before, though. The season's too long, especially for LeBron at this part of his career. So he has to come back and wait, and then he'll roll out and do a playoff series, and he'll be fine. It's not the last we've seen of LeBron James.
I don't think it's the last we've seen of LeBron James, but I don't know that we've seen the LeBron James. I don't think we're going to see the LeBron James that we're used to seeing in the playoffs moving forward.
He looked human.
He had shots, especially at the end, where he's fade away off the side of the backboard. He had layups
where he just let
whiffing
it go.
On and letting it go.
And also, I saw him he just got out-muscled 2 or 3 times, too, which I'd never seen before.
Kyrie Irving was sitting courtside, though, in the last game. I think that tells you something. I don't know. I always thought Kyrie and LeBron were better friends than people
thought.
So too. I think there's made up drama there. right? I think there's made up drama. I think they love to be in the news. I think they like to mess with the media sometimes too, some of these NBA players. I really do. I think they like to mess with the media. But anyways, Lakers get swept. I did not think from a perspective of the NBA wants to see Lakers Celtics in the finals, I didn't think they were going to get swept. But it just goes to show you how good the Nuggets are.
Yeah.
Right? And then you get the Celtics on the verge of being swept until they won last night on Tuesday night, though. This could be, when is this going to come out? This could come out, we'll get this show out before Game 5.
Yeah.
Right? At the Garden, the Celtics, so they win Game 4 in Miami. They force a Game 5. It's now 3-1 in the series. And I said this going into Game 4. And I said it to myself. I didn't say it to anyone. But I thought to myself, I'm sitting there going, this series is not over.
Well, I think
it's not.
Just the fact that the Lakers got swept, because I don't think the NBA is rigged, but what they do is they goose it a little bit. And once they've already had one sweep of a series, I would bet anything that the other series is not going to be.
But it's not because of that. I'm not even going the other way where I'm like, oh, Red Sox 2004, don't let us win tonight. And I know Marcus Smart threw that out there, and that was like a thing. I mean, that's what you have to do, right? You have to say, you have to use that phrase.
And that's the guy
don't
who
let us win tonight.
And that's the guy who has to say it, too.
I'm pretty sure Kevin Millar was not the first person to say that either. I'm sure other guys have said it. It just didn't get the publicity because it wasn't in that setting where he's standing on the first baseline, talking to Dan Shaughnessy, one of the biggest columnists in the country. Red Sox, Yankees, one of the biggest rivalries. Red Sox trying to break the curse. Like, there was a lot going into that.
So
they ended up, they won the series and then won the World Series, broke the curse. So it makes the whole thing a little bit more noticeable.
Yeah.
So the Celtics, it didn't surprise me that they had that mindset. They needed to going into Game 4. Don't let us win tonight. And they won tonight. They won that night. They won Game 4. Jayson Tatum had a huge second half. But going into that Game 4, down 3-0, I said to myself, this series is not over. Not because of all those things we just mentioned, but because of the Miami Heat. Who the Miami Heat are and who the Boston Celtics are. The Celtics are the defending Eastern Conference champions. The Miami Heat are the 8th seed. Celtics are the 2 seed. Heat are the 8th seed. I know the Heat, they've won a couple big series in these playoffs. Jimmy Butler's been playing out of his mind. But give me a break with the Michael Jordan comparisons with Jimmy Butler. Like, we are such prisoners of the moment in this society, aren't we? And it's because of social media. Somebody will throw out the Michael Jordan comparison, and then someone agrees with it, and all these people agree with it, and next thing you know, he's Michael Jordan. It's like, no, he's not even close. Like, Jimmy Butler is a dog. He's got that dog in him, right? I'd love to have him on my team.
Hell yeah.
But he's been with several teams that have not done shit. All right? He can't get over the hump.
And stop. Maybe he's a height of Paul Pierce's career. That's what Jimmy Butler just fit into, where he can do everything. He's exactly what you want. But Michael Jordan,
it's pumped. It's just, to me, it's pump the brakes. And I'm not trying to say he's not a great player. He is. But he's not an all-time great. And he's not somebody that I think needs to be put on this pedestal. He's a likable guy, right? Too. Yeah. And that helps his case when people want to compare him to certain greats around the league. But man, you got to win something first. Like, go out and win something for me. Don't just win a first-round series or a second-round series. Win something for me. And he hasn't really done that. And he's been on several teams. He's not this franchise player that's taken all these teams to the finals. He's not even close to that. And so we got to pump the brakes on that stuff. You look at Miami, the rest of that team. We talk about all these undrafted players having big games. Some of them got horseshoe up their ass.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the 8th seed.
And it goes away. Those are the guys that go away. They just disappear on any given night.
Well, now there's going to be some pressure on them. Yeah. They're the 8th seed. The Celtics are the 2 seed. We know what the Celtics have. You know, people questioning the coach, to me, is stupid. I mean, we questioned the coach at the very beginning on our live stream when he had the press conference after the whole Ime Udoka situation where he's like, didn't he say, like, I'm not really ready for this or something?
He basically said that.
And it's like, you better fucking get ready for it, dude. It's coming.
But I think, like, it might matter in the playoffs at one point. Because he's not, it just doesn't seem like he can control everything. At one point, they mentioned in the broadcast, Al Horford was sitting in the coach's chair, kind of hyping everybody up. I think that was game 3 where they lost. But he was, like, just AWOL at that point.
Yeah, but I think
it doesn't matter as much, though. I think when you have Tatum has to have good nights and Brown has to have a good night. and then the coaches doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter at all.
I just think the coach.
It's not the NFL.
He's a young coach. He's a new coach. This is a learning experience for him. But I mean, they're in the Eastern Conference Finals with that new coach. Yeah. They said something though
but
to me.
But they were there for five past years. So
they said it on the broadcast. They pointed out, they're like, this is the third different coach that they're getting to the Eastern Conference Finals with in like, the last handful of years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, boom, there you go. And they're not winning championships. So what does it tell you? It's not the coach.
Yeah.
If they're getting there with different coaches and they're not winning championships, is it the coach?
It's a good point.
It doesn't sound like it. Oh, we're expecting a coach to get a team over the hump? Yeah. Please, give me a break. It's a players' league more than any other sport.
In the way they turned Doc Rivers into a hero around here for a while, it was always
exactly.
overstated.
Look what he's done since.
You had Kevin Garnett.
You have the Phoenix Suns now considering Doc Rivers. I'm like,
That almost makes sense.
Come on. But the Mazzulla stuff, the guy doesn't even have his own staff, right? I mean, he got the job late.
Yeah, exactly. No staff.
I've actually gone back, I've watched, because when they started talking about how Mazzulla played in the Final Four for West Virginia and he lost to Jimmy Butler's Marquette team.
Wow.
How crazy is that? So I'm like, really? I went back, I watched some clips, and I watched some post-game interviews. Mazzulla, as a player, after those March Madness tournament games for West Virginia, was like the guy that they would bring in with Bob Huggins, and he would be the player that they would interview, the coach, and then they'd interview Mazzulla. And he has that attitude. He has that like, he sounded like a coach as a young player. And I'm like, he's in college there. I'm like, and you listen to him now, he does kind of look like a psychopath sometimes, right? He sounds like a nut.
Crazy eyes sometimes.
But I'm telling you, unless he's in there trying to fight players, you don't fire him. He doesn't lose his job. Because there was a report after they lost game 3 and they're down 3-0. I think it was like Woj actually said it. There was a report that said something along the lines of, people around the league think that Mazzulla's job is in jeopardy if they don't.
And then Brad Stevens has to do something. I saw something like that.
Something like that. And I'm going, I wonder if that was just a ploy to give the players a kick in the behind. To see if, you really like this guy. You liked Ime Udoka. You weren't happy he's gone. Do you like this guy? If you do,
can get worse.
Step your fucking game up. Win tonight in Miami. Okay,
I think
bring
I was
it back
saying
to the Garden.
bring in Van Gundy for a year. It gets worse.
You're like, what are you going to do, right? Is Brad Stevens coming back?
Yeah,
no,
don't want that. No, it didn't work. That was
people
a
are saying
experiment.
that was going to happen. That's not going to happen. I don't think Mazzulla should go anywhere. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. And I don't say that just because they won Game 4 and forced to Game 5. But what I will say is that going into Game 4, down 3-0, I looked at the matchup and I said, there's no way this series is over. Has nothing to do with anything other than Miami is an 8 seed. That, they got Jimmy Butler, but then they're being carried by a bunch of undrafted players who got a horseshoe up their ass. And the Celtics have, they
Real
have been
depth.
Underperforming in this series to this point. And, the people that, so at the end of the last series, right? The people that just was slipping into my DMs saying that they wanted to trade Tatum, I just can't even have a conversation with you. Like, this is not even you cannot actually think that that's a smart thing to do. No, you want to trade Jayson Tatum? If you're going to trade either of those guys, Brown or Tatum, you trade Jaylen Brown. And it is such a fucking no-brainer.
If you think this isn't going to work, you scrap the whole team and keep Tatum. You build around Tatum.
Are you just starting to watch? Did you just start to watch? Did you not watch last year in the playoffs when you needed a must-win against the Milwaukee Bucks and he put up like 45 points to force the game 7?
He was averaging.
People forget about that game. We're prisoners of the moment. It drives me fucking crazy. But you do not trade Jayson Tatum under any circumstances. I had people say, he's a fake superstar. On what planet is Jayson Tatum a fake superstar? And of course, after people saying this stuff, he has the game of his life in Game 7 of the second round.
Now he's Michael Jordan.
Right? And it's like, but here's the frustrating part of the Tatum experience right now is that you see him have a game like that in the second round. And then you see him have the series that he's had, specifically the Game 3. Right? Like, what do you have? I think only 14 points or something. Yeah. Like just the fourth quarters that he's had in
Yeah, they said he was averaging 30
in the first
points
3 games.
in the fourth quarter, which isn't what you want. It's impressive.
Wait, what did you just say? They said
he was averaging 30 points in the fourth quarter in the first 3 games.
Oh no, Jayson Tatum. No, he was horrible in the fourth quarter.
I don't know. This fourth quarter was the only time he woke up.
In this game.
Yeah.
No, in this previous game. No, his fourth quarters, the entire series, he's been like as bad. Like I think the first 2 games, I don't even think he took a shot. I think him and Jaylen Brown combined for like 2 shots. It's some stat in the fourth quarter that was just mind-blowing to me. And I'm going, how can you be this bad in the fourth quarter when you just had a game like that in game 7, and then the game before it in the fourth quarter in game 6, in the second round, you played out of your mind. There's a lot going on with Tatum right now. It's like, it's a seesaw. It's back and forth. It's up and down. And that's why I can understand certain people frustrated. But to get to the point where you want to trade him or call him a fake superstar is so just... Like, I can't have a conversation with you about this guy because you either got burnt on a bad bet at one point or there are some like people I know involved heavily in daily fantasy. They cannot see a game the way
they're playing a different.
They're looking at a different game.
Yeah. And
it's frustrating to have conversations with these people because...
Well, who would you get to? Like, if you're trading him, who's available and better? Like, that's what
you're not trading Jayson Tatum. But if you do trade Jaylen Brown... If you want a $40 million a year guy to match salaries, you kind of have to combo Brown with Smart and get those. Like, to get Damian Lillard, I think you're going to have to trade Brown and Smart together to match those salaries. If you want to get like a Klay Thompson, you're going to have to trade Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart together to get a Klay Thompson. Again, those are just names that off the top of my head I'm throwing out there. Yeah. You know, I have gone into the ESPN trade machine and made sure that these things actually were able to happen, but they can't. But anyways, I don't know that you're making a major shakeup because you won game 4. You kind of rediscovered who you are, and you kind of discovered who Miami is in a way. And now you're back home for game 5. And I agree with Charles Barkley after the game. He said Celtics are going to blow them out of the building. That's going to be a blowout win for the Celtics. And I completely agree. Celtics are going to smash Miami in game 5. It's going to be one of those games where they're sitting Butler and Adebayo with like 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, maybe even late in the third. It's going to be that much of a bloodbath. I completely believe that. And that's when you're going to get the series. The pressure's on Miami.
Yeah.
Because that's the series right there. If you can then go into Miami, I mean, you got to think about it this way if you're the Celtics. 2 of the next 3 are at home. And you got to feel good about that. Knowing who you are, who you kind of rediscovered as who you are in that game 4 in Miami. You can win game 5. If you can win that game 6, if you could steal one more in Miami, it's going to be tough. Miami, that was their first loss at home in these playoffs in game 4. Yeah. But if you can go in there and do that again, and you know you got it in you, you come home game 7. I think that's going to be a bloodbath too. All these Jimmy Butler fanatics. Let's see. We're going to find out. I mean... I always wanted to see him as in a Celtics uniform, Jimmy Butler. But some of the stuff that I'm hearing on him is just kind of, easy. Pump the brakes a little bit. And I'm not trying to say he's not a great player. He is. He's not Jayson Tatum, though. I don't care what you say talent-wise. He's not.
No.
I mean, Jimmy Butler can't even hit threes. He doesn't even really attempt them. And when he does, they're like clanking. He has some games every once in a while. You'll get like the 2 or 3 3-point performance from him. But he is not a 3-point shooter. He's that short-range jump shooter, get to the basket, play defense.
He'll give you what you need. He's kind of that guy.
Yeah, I mean, he'll give you what the Celtics gave themselves last night, which is a good offense stems from a really good defense.
Yeah.
And if the Celtics can get back to having that dog in them in game 5, which I know they will, but they really got to get back to it in game 6 in Miami. And... who knows? By the time you listen to this, Celtics might lose game 5, and this is a nothing argument, and then people are screaming about Tatum again. If that is the case, and we have to swerve here, you're not trading Tatum. If you want to trade Brown, I'll do it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that at this point.
At this point, and I'm one of Marcus Smart's biggest supporters.
Yeah, because I think when you finally do win a championship, it's guys like Marcus Smart that get you over there.
I'm one of his biggest supporters, but I'm getting close to the end.
He's frustrating.
I'm getting...
Brown is frustrating too. Both of them are extremely frustrating players. And I think that the offense is screwed up too because they do it by committee too much instead of just giving it to Tatum and allowing Tatum to make the right decision when he gets double or triple team.
Yeah, some of that's on Tatum too, though. Like, again, these fourth quarters in this series before Game 4, he was deferring. You had some games early in the playoffs, fourth quarter. Yeah. He was deferring. It's like, nah, dude, wake the fuck up. You're the guy.
Yeah, you're him.
Like, get that. And I was saying this last night, like, because this wasn't. The score showed a different, at the end, showed a different game than maybe how you felt, and even early in the third quarter. And I'm saying Tatum's got to get that killer instinct. And I think like 26 of his 33 points in Game 4 came in the second half. And he did. He got that killer instinct. So you know he's got that in him. And it's like, stop deferring. Stop giving it to Grant Williams. That's another thing, too, by the way, I want to address. Grant Williams took some heat for like lighting a spark under Jimmy Butler's ass. Fuck that. Grant Williams was the only one in that game, was it Game 3?
Yeah.
To even show that he wanted to do something in the game.
And I think he did it in hopes to get his players on.
Yeah. I'm not.
And Jimmy Butler's going to be Jimmy Butler. I don't believe that you can start his fire and he's going to do whatever he's going to do. He's a veteran, so he's not.
No,
you're not starting his fire.
There was a moment where I'm watching the game going, hey, maybe don't do that. And then I'm watching it more and I'm like, instigate.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. When you instigate, you guys better fucking respond after.
Yeah.
And they didn't respond.
Tatum has to respond. Really.
Tatum has to respond.
That's who it has to be.
Yeah. And he didn't. And that was the game he had only like 14 points, I think, in the series. But no, you're right. I think before the first two games, I think Tatum did have 30 points.
I don't know. I can pull it up.
He did. He had 30 points in the first two games each. But it was the fourth quarter he didn't do anything in those games.
They're frustrating. That's almost more frustrating.
Yeah, it was inconsistent. But my ultimate point is you're not trading Tatum.
No.
And the Celtics have what it takes to force a Game 6 back in Miami. And then we'll see. I mean, they put themselves in a hole right now. But I'm not sure it's as impossible of a hole as the history books might tell you.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at the right now and the matchup and all these players from Miami that have like been burying these big shots and getting these foul calls. And, well, you saw them turn the ball over in Game 4 like 15, 16 times. And you saw the guy Strus clanked a couple. It's like, oh, is he going to be hitting all these deep threes the whole series? Like,
Role players are role players for a reason.
Strus, whatever the fuck his name is.
Everyone's good in the NBA, but role players are paid as role players because they disappear sometimes. It's just how it works. It's the way it's the league. It's been like that forever.
Yeah. It's not over.
No.
It's not. You agree?
No, I definitely agree. I think you're seeing Celtics be the Celtics again.
What they were most of the season.
Exactly. And you're going to see Miami be Miami again. Over. That's why it's good to have this many games. It's how it works out. The best team does, if they show up, exactly what we know is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, ideally you win Game 1, and this isn't really an issue right now. It's a little more cool, calm, and collected. But it's one game at a time, and now you get this one at home. Garden's going to be rocking on Thursday night, tomorrow night as we're recording this on a Wednesday. And we'll see what happens. But whatever does happen,
what do you think about that?
We'll react to it. What?
In Game 7, Jaylen Brown said something like, we need the Garden. Game 7 of the last round, he said, we need the Garden to really show up. I almost feel like, no, they'll show up if you show up. Like, you don't ask for extra chairs before the game. I think it's like a goofy mentality.
Here's one thing I don't like about the Garden and the home crowd thing. We're using this logo, Unfinished Business, with like the 18 in it. That's their rallying cry. I don't know. I don't like that because you're looking at last year.
It
isn't last year. Yeah, I don't like that. But I mean, the fans will show up. The fans will show up. Jaylen Brown has said some weird things, I think.
Yeah.
In the post games. But look, that's good. I mean, get frustrated, right? They didn't expect to be down 3-0. I don't think it's on the coach. People are frustrated with the coach. I don't see it. I think it's on the performance of their top players. I'd like to see Brogdon not have these air balls and short shots. Like, I feel like I know he's dealing with the hand issue. I'd like to see him figure that out.
Horford has to be a little more stable. He's up and down.
But ultimately, it comes down to Brown and Tatum. If Brown and Tatum can be Brown and Tatum at home in Game 5, then they'll force a Game 6. And I'll take Brown and Tatum over Jimmy Butler any day of the week. I'll take Brown and Tatum over Jimmy Butler and anyone else in Miami any day of the week in any game. And so that, I think, works in the Celtics' favor in this series with their backs against the wall, must wins, whatever happens, we'll react to it. But I think there's going to be a Game 6. Yeah. I would put my money on it. Charles Barkley, Sir Charles, he said it on the broadcast after the game. He said, he goes, I'd call my bookie right now and put whatever I can on the Celtics at home in Game 5. And then they got in his ear and they were like, make sure you mention the sports book that we're partnerships with. And he did. And he mentioned it. Now, I'm not going to mention it because they don't pay me. And I'm done giving free advertisements. But that's where we stand. I would put my money on the Celtics in Game 5 at home. And the winner of that series plays Denver.
Who's just sitting
I don't know.
resting.
I don't know if anyone's going to beat Denver. Jokic looks unstoppable right now.
It's messed up.
He really does.
It's so fun, though, too, just for the exact reason we said before, that you don't get to see them. Now that you get to see them, it's like they're...
Yeah, it's almost like a new toy I'm discovering, right?
Yeah.
You're watching, you're like, whoa, what is this? Who's this guy? You know who he is. You see him, he's MVP. You see highlights. But very rarely do I sit there and watch Denver Nuggets basketball games. Like, I consider myself a huge sports fan, and I will watch a game over a movie or a TV show, even if it's not a Boston team. And I'll even watch games late night baseball. I love watching if it's like Dodgers, Padres, but Angels.
Denver seems like a big ask.
But like Denver Nuggets basketball in January on TNT at 10:30, like that's just not my jam.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. And Jokic doesn't move the needle for me in that regard because it's kind of... I mean, look, he's a big, tall, goofy white dude.
Yeah. Dirk had the same problem.
Yeah, but Dirk was electric from a little more electric. Like, there's no electricity to Jokic. And then
he just like shows
you
up.
see him on the big stage, and he does have these subtle like spin moves where you're like, whoa, what was that? And so maybe there is, I'm discovering, I'm not putting this on him, it's probably on me for not watching, but I'm discovering
you're getting the nuances
a little more
now.
electricity from Jokic. And maybe I will watch a Denver Nuggets game in January on a Tuesday night at 10:30 on TNT next season. Now maybe I'm locked in, where I wasn't giving him a shot before. We'll see what happens, though, in the NBA playoffs. Stanley Cup playoffs. How about the Florida Panthers? They might win the cup.
It's wild.
They beat the Bruins. Will that make you feel better?
Yeah, it does. It definitely does.
If they win the cup?
Yeah, it always does for me. Because it's like, well, they were the guys. They were always the
you
guys.
at least lost to the guy.
Yeah, it's different. It's better.
To be the man,
better.
you got to beat the man, and that's the man. And now we know we didn't know at the time that was the man, but now we know.
But that's the beauty of the NHL. It really is. People get hot. Goalies get hot. You never know. Injuries, people skate with broken feet.
Yeah. Yeah, you get on that roll, and
don't know. Yeah. It's a wild sport. It's the best
And they
sport.
got the veteran goalie in that now, and he's feeling it. Yeah, Florida, they could win it all. I mean, the NHL does not want to see...
No.
I do think Florida-Vegas would be a really exciting matchup. They do not want to see Dallas-Carolina.
No, not a chance. Not a chance.
I don't think they want to see that. What's up with Carolina's uniforms, man? They look like college uniforms with the red helmet and the white jersey. When did they start doing that?
I think a couple years. I think it's...
I hate that. Looks like a college team, right?
Yeah. I hate any of that.
They look like the University of Carolina Hurricanes.
I hate it even in the NBA. I'm like, just normal jerseys, normal Celtic jerseys. Don't stop. You get
you got to wear the home white, the original home whites in Game 5. You got to wear that.
You have to.
But they probably won't.
No, they probably
they'll wear the city
green thing.
Yeah, the city uniforms, like the goldish green.
Not even the right green.
No, it's they have a couple tough uniforms. Or like the black and green ones. Not feeling those. I love the Celtics, the home whites, the road greens.
I'm so old now. I'm like, I wish. I get mad that they all have different color sneakers on.
Oh, do you?
I do.
There was one point, right? They were making the home teams wear white sneakers.
That was
like the Antoine Walker days.
That was like 25 years ago, too.
Antoine Walker, Tony Delk, Tony Battie. Walter McCarty. They're all wearing white shoes at home, black shoes on the road. The NBA was like a cult. They were like, you're going to wear this and you're going to wear that. And that's
the
it.
David Stern years. But I even rant about it. I'm like, you can even have different sneakers, but just a percentage of the correct green on the shoes.
That's how you are right now when you watch the. No, I'm not. I'm like,
I hate the advertisement.
Oh, the advertisement is stupid.
It infuriates me.
But at least the Celtics have a decent one that isn't like a different color.
It's not as bad as it could be, but I don't like it.
The Red Sox ones are horrible.
Yeah.
What is it? Mass Mutual? Like is it a blue patch
it's
or
different
it
color.
looks like a black patch?
Yeah.
Maybe it's navy blue, but it looks black on TV. By the way, there's something going on at Fenway. I asked a couple people if they notice, and I think they'll probably notice now that I pointed out. We talked a lot about the lights for home runs. Well, it's not just home runs. It's actually, here's what's wrong with the lights. They changed the lights at Fenway to like these energy-saving LED lights.
So that's
Did you know that?
So dim.
And I didn't know. No, it's like, it's a different brightness through Fenway. And I see it on TV, and I'm like, because I was watching the game on ESPN. Was it against St. Louis, Sunday Night Baseball? A week ago, 2 weeks? And I'm going, it just looks, it's like a brighter feel to Fenway. And I asked someone, I'm like, oh yeah, the neighbors were complaining. Like it's like the Parks and Salty. Yeah, the neighbors were complaining. They made them put the LEDs in. But that's what they did. They had to put like these energy-saving LED lights. And it changed the look. And I can't, now that it's like one of those things, now that you see it, you can't unsee it.
You're like messing with your TV, trying to adjust it.
And I hate it. I absolutely hate it. We don't want to talk baseball, though. Because
not yet.
There's a bigger story. There's a bigger story. I think you know where I'm going with this.
I love it.
How do I begin? All right, so Tom Brady has retired twice, right? He's retired twice. And a lot of people think it would be absolutely crazy to consider the fact that he might unretire again. And I go,
if you ever watch wrestling.
In a vacuum, like, yeah. Like, it would be crazy. Like, he's, like, it's
in a
foolish.
weird place in his life, though, right now. Like, he's recently divorced. I think he's just, he could make any decision. You could see him. You could see him running for office or being the next quarterback of.
Well, he's not running for office. But what he is doing is he's becoming an NFL owner. Because Tom Brady now has ownership stake in the Las Vegas Raiders. He's a minority owner. Him and owner Mark Davis agreed to this. It just needs to be approved by at least 24 other NFL owners. And Tom Brady is a minority owner with the Las Vegas Raiders. And the whole thing is funny to me. Like, the whole thing is funny to me because I was actually sitting down today writing a column on this. And I ended up going in a different direction than I thought I was going to go because I had to sit back and think about the whole situation. So there were a couple things I wrote in there. I'm like, oh, let's, I joked. I was like, currently, now that Tom Brady is part of the Raiders organization, currently Tom Brady is the best quarterback in the organization. And I sat back and go, well, that was supposed to be a joke, but let me just double check the depth chart. And I'm like, Jimmy Garoppolo and Brian Hoyer. Wait a minute. Those are this is the New England Patriots. Head coach, Josh McDaniels. They even have a receiver, Jacoby Myers. I'm like, this is the Vegas Patriots. Tom Brady is now an owner of this team. And then I sat back and I go, Tom Brady, if it wasn't for John Gruden, would probably still be the quarterback of the Vegas Raiders. You have a clip I told you to pull up. I think, did you find it? This is from, I just want to refresh people's memory. This is, hold on, don't play it yet. This is last summer. Now, you're a UFC guy, Paul. I don't know if you remember what fight or whatever, but I think it was UFC 278 last August. It was a pay-per-view. And they did a special one-night show on ESPN. What, the fights are on ESPN Plus?
Yeah, I think so.
And this was on regular ESPN, regular cable. And it was the Gronkowski family sitting like in a room, just watching the fights. It was a watch along for UFC 278. And they're watching the fights and they're telling stories. I don't even know if they ever even were watching the fights or whatever. I watched some of it though. It was entertaining at the time. But there's a part of the show where Dana White does a video interview with them from a remote location, and they talk about how Tom Brady, before he decided to go to Tampa Bay, was close to a deal with the Raiders. He was bringing Gronk with him to go to the Vegas Raiders because Dana White had kind of created this deal with Vegas Raiders owner Mark Davis. So Dana White and Mark Davis are talking. They get Brady on the phone. They get Gronk on the phone. Those four work out a deal. Dana White said Tom Brady was looking for houses in the Vegas area. That's how it was a done deal. And then John Gruden, who was the coach of the Raiders at the time, got word of it and killed the deal. Didn't want it. Didn't want to bring Tom Brady in. Wanted Derek Carr. Wanted to win with the young kid. Wanted to win with his guys. And he nixed the deal. He killed the deal. He squashed the deal. Brady and Gronk were going to the Raiders before they went to the Buccaneers. And how do I know this? Because Dana White and Gronk were talking about it on ESPN last summer, last August. Let's play the clip of this.
Another question for you, man. I know when Tom was a free agent about 2-3 years ago before he went to Tampa, you gave him a recruiting pitch on why he should join the Vegas Raiders. What went wrong with that recruiting pitch that you gave him?
Do I really tell this story right now, Gronk? Do you want me to tell this story?
Yes.
You can give a brief story. You don't got to go too much in details because you never know. I could have been in Vegas with you for the last 3 years, man. What the heck?
No,
It's still there. You would have signed it then.
You would have been. So
I would have been.
I'm the one.
Oh, we're buffering. We're buffering right now at a bad time.
Try this one.
No, we gotta finish that. It'll play, right? No?
ESPN's being weird.
Oh, we pulled it right off ESPN.com. It's got to be on YouTube too. No, you know what? So we don't have to play the rest of that, but you get the setting in which they were talking about it, and it's good that we got that because Dana White seemed surprised that he was like, "We're really going to talk about this right now." Gronk was bringing it up. It's something that they probably weren't going to discuss. They were going to save it for a book deal or something, right? And then Gronk brings it up. He's like, "Oh man." So what Dana White does is he tells the story on that ESPN broadcast. And we can't play it because it's buffering, but he tells a story about how it was pretty much a done deal, Brady and Gronk to the Vegas Raiders before they went to Tampa Bay. And it was agreed to by the owner. And then John Gruden was like, "Nah, I don't want it." And Mark Davis probably was like, I'm respecting Gruden right now. We've given him the keys to the car. I think it would be a bad move if I step in and don't let him shop for the groceries. To take a quote from Bill Parcells. And so Dana White just told the story. And if you didn't believe him, we're going to play you right now the press conference from that UFC 278 event. Dana White gets asked about it, and he doubles down, and he gives an even better answer explaining the whole story about how he almost got Brady to play for the Las Vegas Raiders instead of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Here's that press conference.
I have no idea.
Thank you.
Yep.
Dana, I was just wondering, the Gronk telecast, what they did was pretty interesting. I know that it's probably more a Vegas question than anything else, but what you revealed with Derek Carr and Gronk wanting to play for the Raiders, at least it was close. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
I didn't want to talk about that, no, but he sort of sucked me into it on live TV. Yeah, it's true, and I talked Brady into playing for the Raiders, and Gronk was coming with him, and they were negotiating the deal, and they were really close to getting it done, and then Gruden pulled the deal, and Brady was not happy about it. Neither was I, and yeah, and that's that. He went to the Buccaneers and won the Super Bowl. I don't want a fucking box there. I wanted Brady at you know what I mean? Crazy. But yeah, it's true. And I thought that I would never tell that story publicly, but what the hell Gronk was doing tonight that he brought that up. But yeah.
What could have been, I guess, huh?
Yeah. It would have been amazing for the city and would have been amazing for the Raiders. I mean, their first year there, they got Brady and Gronk, So Yeah. I'm sure Mark Davis is real happy to hear this story.
Dana right over here.
Yep.
6 years ago, you were here
That's
for a
that's
fight,
it.
right? And you
But he
kinda
doubles
talked about
down.
that.
He confirms it again.
I love that his real reason was because he has a box and wanted to watch Brady.
Yeah, right?
Like, at the heart of that, like it's good for their first year. It's good for all this. But
Oh, man.
at the heart.
Well, and it got me thinking. So I'm like putting it all together as I'm writing this column today. And I'm like, would Brady, if that ended up happening, would Brady still be playing football right now? Because I started to get back into, okay, what are the odds? Because my column went from one thing. My column went from just like talking about Brady being an owner and being in his next chapter of his career. And I ended up completely writing a column about how, oh no, Tom Brady will be playing for the Las Vegas Raiders this year. Like that's what I spun it into. I'm like, what are the odds? The odds are pretty good. Now, I'm not rooting for this. But the odds are pretty good that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get hurt. Okay? Now, they're not. The Raiders aren't going to be openly, actively pursuing Brady to like come out of the owner's booth to play because Jimmy Garoppolo just signed a huge deal that has like almost $40 million guaranteed.
But
so like you're gonna roll with him.
But it's an interesting break in case of emergency type of thing.
Well, here's the other
really
thing.
is.
I'm like, all right, is Tom Brady, man, why did you start to get into like, why did he retire in the first place? Was it the team? Was it the Bucks? Was it his personal life? Was it that he doesn't have a love for football anymore? I think we can rule out he doesn't have a love for football anymore. I'm going to rule that one out. He was dealing with some shit with his wife. They had the divorce. From everything that we're supposed to believe, it's that she wanted the divorce, not him.
Yeah.
So there's a situation that Brady maybe never has been in before. Right? Like, what do you mean you don't want me? I'm fucking Tom Brady. Like, you know what I mean? So, but then, like, on a personal level, like, there's some heartbreak there.
Yeah.
And I've dealt with that before. Recently. I had that. And that can take some time to get over.
And it affects.
I mean, it took me, like, several years, dude. Like, it's something that hit me. I never would have thought I'd be hit with something like that before. And I was, and it's different, and I wasn't expecting it. And here you are now, like, just feeling... It just these wild emotions running through you. And if Tom Brady is human, which he is, it sounds like something like that was affecting him. It looked like something like that was affecting him. He looked like, we talked about this, him playing games last year for Tampa. There were times it looked like he didn't know what was going on. He didn't know where he was. That shit affected him more than anyone wants to actually acknowledge. The divorce, the heartbreak. Tom Brady was going through some shit on a personal level last year
for a while,
that
more than a year.
I don't even know that everyone can relate to because it's.
Yeah, you either have it or you don't, right? Yeah.
I had it before.
Yeah.
And I would never have been able to relate to someone until I had it. Like I never even. It's just I don't know how to explain it, but you feel it in a different way than any other type of heartbreaking situation. Any other type of loss. It's weird. It's different. But my advice to Tom Brady would be, dude, you know, now that I pulled myself out of it, I'd be like, it's a cold world. Be colder. That's it. It's a cold world. Be colder. Fucking get in that booth. If something, keep throwing that football. If something happens to Garoppolo, you know you got that dog in you still.
And don't you think he doesn't want to do a full season? I can think he can imagine.
Pull a Roger Clemens with the Houston Astros?
Hell yeah.
Come in midway through. So that was so again, I'm putting this all together today and I'm like, you know, why did Tom Brady retire? I think it was because he was going through some personal shit. And I honestly believe that stuff, that
it affects everything.
That fucks with your brain. Your heart's broken. Yeah, but I've experienced it. Your brain breaks too. Like you're doing things that are just like unhinged at times and you think it's normal. I'm willing to bet he retired from football thinking that he was going to get her back. Yeah. He was going to get that back.
Yeah.
And what we see, at least out in public, is that that's not happening. Yeah. That's not the case. So I don't know if like something's going to hit him. It's a cold world. Be colder. At some point, one day he's going to wake up and go, fuck that. Fuck her.
Who's the new Giselle?
Okay? And I wonder if he has that moment, if he thinks and goes, fuck, I still love football and I can still play. And last year with the Bucks, I just need a change of scenery. I got to get out of there. Now he's an owner with the Raiders, a team that wanted him to play for them anyways. What happens if Garoppolo gets hurt? So here's what I started thinking, and here's a question that everybody needs to ask. Do we really think that Tom Brady, like, is Tom Brady throwing a football? Do you think when Tom Brady goes and works out, because we can all agree he's still working out, he's going to be in great shape. Yeah. He's going to work out with Alex Guerrero.
Yeah, it's part of his brand.
Right?
Even, yeah.
It's part of the fabric of his being at this point. Yeah. And you see him, like, he doesn't look old. He looks like he's doing something to get younger. I mean, he still can throw the football. At the end of he still can zip it in there. When he works out, which we can all agree he does, is he throwing the football? Is he? What do you think? Is he throwing to receivers?
Wouldn't you be shocked if he wasn't?
I'd be shocked if he's not.
Exactly. That's a better way of saying it.
And you mean to tell me he's going to be an owner, and for the first year of his life, his adult life, he's not going to be able to play? And then Jimmy Garoppolo comes up with that hamstring.
Which you never root for, but I could almost guarantee.
All of a sudden, his phone's ringing one day.
He just comes down from the owner's box.
Hey, Tom, yeah, it's Mark Davis. Yeah, how you doing? Good.
Please.
Good. Look, Jimmy G's got he's got
him.
He's got the quad injury. You know, what you been throwing? All right, because look, we're gonna need you next week on Monday Night Football in Week 5 against Green Bay, and after that, your Patriots are coming here in Week 6. What do you think? Have you been throwing the football? Like,
do your job, Tom.
Do we think that conversation won't happen if Garoppolo gets hurt?
It has to.
Or are they going to go, oh, no, we drafted a kid from Purdue in the 7th round. Let's go with him. Oh, no, we got Brian Hoyer. No. Tom Brady is going to be throwing the football and...
against the Patriots Week 6.
I mean, if I'm Garoppolo, I'm looking at this news, and there's no doubt he's thinking like, dude, this
again?
Guy, I can't escape this dude. Now he's buying his way? He's now Tom's
serenity now.
Can you believe this? The guy, like, Garoppolo just comes home. Is he like married or something with kids? I don't even know. He comes home, slams his playbook and his keys down on the counter. His wife's like, honey, what's wrong? He's like, I can't escape the guy.
He's seeing Tom's face everywhere.
He was trying to come to San Fran when I was there. Now he's paying his own money to try and take my job. What is wrong with this dude? And he's talking about, oh, get the band back together with the Patriots stuff. No, like, I'm not doing that. And he's spending his money. That's what pisses me off about it. So I wonder. And I don't even wonder. I know. Brady's going to be throwing the football. He's staying in shape. And Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get hurt.
Death and taxes.
See, they wanted him to play for the Raiders. He wanted to play for the Raiders. He only retired because he was out of it with a personal divorce situation, and he needed a change of scenery.
Tampa just wasn't the right place.
It was
anymore.
over in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
It should have never been Tampa Bay, as we just saw. And that's why I ask you, if he was still in Vegas, would he still be playing? Like, would things be different? I don't know. I mean, he goes to Vegas. That divorce might have been happening a long time ago anyways, right? Like, what happens in Vegas, staying in Vegas, maybe not. But, yeah, I think it's it's got to be an awkward situation for Jimmy G, I think. Because I think the elephant in the room is always going to be up in Suite 501.
In the owner's box.
I can't take the big hit on this third down blitz because I'm looking up at Tom. Hey, what's up, Tom?
A ghost.
Blue 42. Oh, shit. They're sending him up. Tom's What is Tom doing? He's stretching his arm? Oh, shit. Here we go. You know what I mean? Like,
it's not a good position for him to be in. It really isn't. It really isn't.
Tom Brady's playing for the Raiders next year. That's basic. I started a column, and it was going to be on his, he owns, I think he's part owner of a WNBA team too.
Okay.
He's probably playing a lot of great golf at some great courses. He's got the clothing line. He's got the gym stuff, the fitness stuff. I'm sure there's some other things that I'm not. What else is he involved in? He's not involved in FTX anymore, I can tell you that. What else is he involved in?
I think that's about it.
Is that about it?
It's a lot.
Now he's back to football. And
back starting.
I think, because I didn't see the odds change for the Raiders Super Bowl odds. I was a little surprised by that. But you never know. Because Brady, I don't think, as we're recording this, has not said anything. He hasn't even tweeted or Instagrammed about this yet. And I just wonder.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I wonder. Look, Patriots and Raiders play week 6 in Vegas. It's in Vegas, right? I'll have to look. I don't think it's at Gillette. I think it's in Vegas. But the Patriots are going to have the thank you Tom game in week 1.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I think it's weird. The thank you Tom game? Like, you're going to do... what are you going to do? Like, there should be...
They'll bring
I don't know
out
what
some
you can do,
people.
but there's got to be something
You'll
different.
bring out Edelman. You'll bring out Gronk. You bring out a couple other guys.
No, and I don't mean it's weird that they're going to, remember Tom Brady at a game. I think they should do that. I just figured it would have, like... They throw that out, the thank you Tom game. It feels half-assed.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it feels weird. It feels half-assed. Like, this should be, hey, we got a Tom Brady statue. We're unveiling the statue.
Which they should do.
Right?
Yeah.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you get rid of all statues if you're not going to build one of Tom Brady in Foxborough. Are you kidding me? Get rid of all statues. If you're not going to build a Tom Brady statue, there should be none. There should be no statues of anyone. I'm dead serious.
That's the standard.
I'm dead serious. If you're not going to build a Tom Brady statue, just eliminate all statues. There's no need for a statue if you're not going to have a Tom Brady statue. The only question should be, are you going to have him holding 1 Lombardi trophy, or you're going to have him holding 6?
Or the tuck rule.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a whole nother Raiders situation, right? He now owns the Raiders in more ways than one. So that's a weird dynamic. Keep your eye out for it. Because I think that this is going to come up.
I wonder what other
I'm surprised more people are not talking about this. I feel like nobody is actually discussing this right now. And I think it's because they don't want to sound ridiculous, because they go, oh, nobody would unretire again. Because, again, in a vacuum, in general, that seems like a ridiculous thing to do, and I don't think he would do that. But when you break down everything, why he retired, what he was going through, where he might be at now, what he's going to be feeling
when he sees
when he
Garoppolo.
watches football, now what he's going to be feeling when he watches football as an owner in the building, because I know he signed the deal with Fox Sports too.
But it's almost
to be an
like
analyst
whenever you want. It's a weird
But dude,
deal.
that's always going to be there for him.
Yeah.
They're not going to go, oh no, we don't want you, go to CBS. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's going to get to a point. Now look, if Garoppolo never gets hurt, and I'm not rooting for Garoppolo to get injured either. And I don't think the Raiders are. I don't think the Raiders are actively pursuing Brady to be their quarterback. I'm just telling you that history tells us Garoppolo has a tough time staying on the field. And if he has a tough time staying on the field and suffers an injury like he usually does, and it happens this season, if it's not too late even if it is late in the year.
Yeah, well, at that point, it doesn't matter.
Are you not going to have the conversation with Tom Brady, who's probably on the side, in great shape, throwing, might even end up being in the best shape of his life?
Yeah, exactly. Because you get to not be tested.
He's not
for stuff
taking
for a
any
little
hits. He's not taking hits. Yeah, that's another thing we're not talking about. But I think that might be in jest. You say that, but you get my point, which is that you're not going through the grind of that season. Now, people will say, well, is that even legal? an owner to play, player-owner. I think I read you need to have ownership approval from the rest of the league's owners need to approve it, majority. But even if they don't, then you work out and you're really that committed to it, you work out a deal.
Sell it.
Hey, I'm going to sell if people who aren't watching on YouTube or Spotify, I'm putting up the air quotes for sell my
share
in the company. I'm no longer an owner, but when I'm done, I'm going to get that right back. Maybe even more. You know, he's in a position of power. He's like, all right, I'll give you back now. I'll sell this back to you. Only if I win a Super Bowl, or if I get to the conference championship, or if I do this for the team, I get a little more equity back on the flip side when I get this back and become an owner again. That's where it could get creative. Look, these are conversations that are no doubt going to happen. I'm surprised people aren't jumping all over this.
Yeah.
Maybe they are, and I'm not paying attention. But that's where we're going to end up with this Brady.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
And what's the one team I told you he was going to go to?
Yeah, that's it.
Before he retired again. We were talking about on the live stream.
And it makes so much sense that it's that team, too. Just coach in place, a lot of familiar faces. I don't know what his staff is, but I imagine it's a lot of people that Tom likes.
Again, Josh McDaniels. Brian Hoyer's there. All right, Garoppolo's there. Jacoby Myers. How long? I think he played with Myers 1 year, right? His last year was with Jacoby Myers, I think. Even if he wasn't, whatever.
Familiar faces. Though.
Chandler Jones is there, I think. It's going to happen, Paul. Brady is going to play for the Raiders next season. I don't know when it's going to be. I don't know for how long it's going to be, but he is not. And if you think about this, too.
Patriots West.
That's actually a way you could unretire.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here, but he got hurt. I love the team, and I'm part of the organization. Like, if Brady just came off the street and unretired,
it looks a little crazy.
It looks even crazy. It looks like, oh, dude, you're gonna unretire again.
And now he's saving.
Now he's got the excuse.
Yeah, he's saving the whole.
It's
season.
Such a perfect story, right?
Season.
Well, I mean, I literally own the team. You know, I mean, I spent my money.
I love it. I don't want to see him go away yet. I'm not ready for Tom Brady.
I don't think he's ready yet either. That's why he bought ownership stake with the Las Vegas Raiders. He has seen the writing on the wall. He knows Jimmy G is going to get hurt. He's not rooting for it, but he just.
I love the
like. What are you going to put your money on?
I love your Garoppolo take though. Garoppolo's just like, what again?
What the fuck? This fucking guy, honey. Can you believe Tom again? He's back, and he's paying his own money to steal my job. Because if you're McDaniels too, dude, and let's say Garoppolo's just throwing picks, dude.
Yeah,
Forget about injury. Let's say he's just...
And you just like looking up, you in Tom's eyes.
And McDaniels is just like got to save his job too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Calls Mark Davis. Tom, what are you doing? I saw you on YouTube. You're throwing like deep bombs. Like, what are you doing? Like, just fucking sign a deal. 1 year deal.
Oh, I love it.
We'll trade Garoppolo tomorrow. Like, what are we doing? It's there. And I think as long as it's there, it's an option in that arena in Vegas.
I love it.
And then I start to think like, what are Gronk and Edelman doing?
Yeah.
Like, just
let's get Gronk ready right now.
Let's put it.
Stem cells. What do we need?
It's Vegas, baby. It's Vegas. All right. Well, that's my NFL talk. What do we want to wrap this up with? Oh, WWE. That's right. WWE. Night of Champions this Saturday. Have you been watching? Have you been paying attention to what's going on?
I've been coming back in a little bit more, yeah.
Because of this, because of my...
Yeah. You kind of... The way you sold Roman Reigns to me, I was like...
Dude, it's so good, isn't it?
Yeah. I almost... To be honest, I don't watch the whole show. I kind of do fast forward through parts. But
yeah, who does? Are there people that sit there and watch the whole show?
I don't know.
I don't.
But all the Roman Reigns stuff, and the Brock stuff also. Brock Lesnar.
Lesnar, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying
They got Triple H involved in that feud now, which I think is interesting. There's a reason why they have Triple H on the... Like, I'm not saying Triple H is going to wrestle again. He's not.
I heard something, though, that there's a chance that he could
You did?
a little while back, like that he could.
Oh, he had a vicious heart attack.
No, I know, but not that he could work like a whole thing, but that he could do a match. I thought I heard something.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe I'm making it up.
I don't think he's going to do that. But what I think could happen, I mean, I don't see why he couldn't sell.
He might get whacked.
He might get hit with a chair or something.
Yeah.
But it's funny, you put him on the screen with Cody the other night on Raw. Because there's that history there. Cody went to AEW. The first thing he did when they created the company, they put a King's Throne, and he took the sledgehammer, which is Triple H's weapon, and he smashed the throne. And a lot of people looked at that and went, oh shit, shots fired at Triple H. Now, I've said I think Triple H probably loved it, right? I think he probably loved it. Like, that's theater.
But it does seem like there's something going on.
But when you put them on the screen together, you start to, like, connect those dots for people.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting that they would put them on the screen together. It just makes me believe, like, something else is going to happen
more
with those two.
I
don't know what. But something is. So you got Cody versus Brock at Night of Champions.
And Brock's unleashed right now.
I don't know where they're going to go with that.
That's why I like that you said the Triple H thing, because I didn't know where they were going to go with this either. So now, like, maybe you put another layer.
Triple H might come, because we're still waiting to see why Brock Lesnar attacked Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if it's going to be like, Triple H is screwing Cody Rhodes.
Start the corporation again.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, Triple H is like,
put a hit on him almost.
Yeah, he like paid Brock Lesnar to go after Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. Which makes sense because you remember how the whole thing started. Brock kind of showed up out of nowhere.
That's what I mean. We still don't know why he attacked Cody. They never explained that. So that's like out there. And I don't think that's by accident. I think that's by design. We still got to find out what this is all about.
Yeah.
Cody tried to like spell it out in a promo a couple weeks ago, saying that Brock thought he was the next best thing. That's his like tagline coming up to the company. And now he's not, and Cody's the next best thing, and that bothers Brock. That doesn't seem like that's going to end up being the motivation.
No.
So it's funny that Triple H is involved. We'll see what happens. I don't know where they're going to go with that. But I hope where they go with Roman Reigns on Saturday, I hope they give him the tag titles.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Him and Solo Sikoa.
But didn't him and Solo Sikoa almost have like not a falling out, but they bumped shoulders and it was like a weird little moment?
Yeah, there's a weird moment. There's been some weird moments.
So they're teasing something there.
They're teasing like a Solo Roman. They're teasing like they know there's already a fight within the bloodline, right?
I know. But it almost seems like I read it as Roman getting kicked out and
like Jimmy or Jey Uso takes over.
Or however, I have no idea really. But
it's probably going to be Jey Uso because Jey Uso was in the beef with Roman before Jimmy came back and really created the bloodline faction. I would love to see Roman and Solo win the tag titles over Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Because now Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are kind of like,
I'm already over it too.
Yeah, it's like what?
I feel like we've maybe not seen it exactly like this, but we've brushed up against this enough.
The only way they can get me interested in Sammy and Kevin again is if Sammy rejoins the bloodline.
Yeah.
Like in a like ultimate heel turn. The ultimate heel turn.
Wouldn't mind that either.
I don't know that it's gonna I do have to mention this. Speaking of ultimate heel turns. So buddy of mine, and you know him, Dan Manning. You know Dan Manning?
Yeah.
He went viral. Did you see him go viral? He brought his daughter to, and this connects, believe me, this connects. I know this sounds random, but this will connect with, I just got off the phone with him, literally right before I came in here. He called me out of the blue. And he went viral recently on TikTok because he brought his daughter to the Taylor Swift concert at Gillette Stadium, and he had her on his shoulders, and she was singing it, and he was recording it, and she was singing the song, and it was like, hashtag girl dad or something. And like he was on Inside Edition. They put it on TV, right? They put it on other news channels. It went viral on TikTok. I think he said he's got like millions of hits on it. Wow. And so he called me and he's like, he literally called me right before this. And he goes, what do I, you use social media. Like, what do I do with this? I go, you called the wrong guy. Not because I don't have ideas, but you're not going to like my idea. He's like, what? I go, what are you saying? You're like, everyone thinks you're the best dad. He's like, yeah, everyone's commenting like you're the best dad in the world. I'm like, well, what would Vince McMahon do? And he's like, what? I'm like, what would Vince McMahon do in this situation? I'm like, you want to keep this going, you're saying, right? He's like, yeah. I go, you're not going to like what I have to say. He's like, what? I'm like, you got to do a full heel turn on your daughter. You have to now become the worst fucking dad on TikTok. And that's your thing moving forward. He was dying. He was loving it. When we were throwing out ideas, I'm like, that's your thing now.
You're a bad
like
dad.
you're the worst dad on the face of the earth, and you have to like do like short little hits where like you're yelling at your daughter or you're doing something, right? Like you're ripping up and you're blaming it on Taylor Swift. It's all coming back to that. I'm like, you can't keep this good dad thing going. No one's gonna like that after 3 times. Even Hulk Hogan had to go to the NWO. Even Hulk Hogan couldn't keep wearing the red and yellow. You know?
Oh, that's amazing.
He had to be the third man in at Bash at the Beach. I'm like, you gotta go heel. You gotta go heel on your daughter, dude. That's it. You gotta turn into a heel. You have to turn into not. Everyone thinks you're the best dad. You're an inside edition, throwing you bouquets. No. This was a ploy. You're the worst dad, and here's how you show them. And that's how you continue to keep the viral going. Because now your stick is worst dad of all time.
I love it. It will work, actually.
It will definitely work.
Brilliant.
We live in such a fucked up society that will be the best thing. He's going to make so much money off being the worst dad in the world on TikTok.
Hashtag girl dad, hashtag bad dad.
Hashtag worst dad, hashtag heel turn for the ages.
You should work for the WWE. You really should.
Well, I mean, it's going to happen. Eventually, I will work for the WWE. But it's funny, like, that's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, he ain't going to like what I have to say right now. Because he was explaining it to me. I saw the video and I saw him on, like, getting publicity for it. And I'm like, great stuff. And I'm like, and he's, like, explaining to me, like, where he wants to go with it. How, like, oh, he can do, like, more, like, good deeds. And I'm like, he's not going to like what I got to tell him right now.
Taking your puppy away.
I'm like, you just, like, you know, you tease tickets to the next concert, and then you just rip them up in her face and take your son instead. Like, what would Vince McMahon do in this situation? That's sad. It's sad that that's how I think in everyday life. But Vince McMahon, he's a successful multi-billionaire for a reason.
Yeah.
And I love Vince McMahon, and I will follow in Vince McMahon's footsteps and take his lead and his advice. Not on everything. Maybe not on everything, but in the creative mindset, I'll take his advice. You know, till the day I die. Anyways, heel turns. That I thought of that. I just had that conversation, so I'm like, he might even get a kick out of that, hearing me talk about it. But Sami Zayn, that would be quite the situation if he.
Yeah. And the only thing that I'd kind of be interested in, but even that, I'm kind of over too. I'm a little bit even over that storyline. I want to see Roman uncomfortable. That's what I want to see. I think that's the next thing. You strip his family away from him. I don't know. I want to see. I want to flip that.
I don't know if you can see if. I got to know what they're doing with that new world championship. AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins. That's going to be the match.
Yeah. Which is okay.
Where do you think they're going with that?
I don't know. Almost nothing, it seems like. What is that?
I think they want... See, they could swerve us. Like, I think the obvious thing is you give it to Seth Rollins.
And then...
Because you've had him now knocking on the door. But then it's like... I don't know. AJ Styles is... I think if you want to make us believe Seth Rollins, and then you swerve and you give it to AJ Styles. Or if you give it to Seth Rollins, then you have that showdown with Roman Reigns. Yeah, there is some unfinished business there, too.
Yeah.
Then you make Seth Rollins, you give him all the belts. Like, is Seth Rollins the guy to beat Roman Reigns? Or do you have a Seth Rollins-Cody feud again?
Yeah.
Cody gets the titles and Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania for the unification. In which you have Roman Reigns win again. And... people are so mad.
That's a Vince move.
I love it. That's
a best for business move.
I told you on the last show, that's what they need to do with Roman. They need to give him the titles, unify it. He needs to win this other championship. Let whoever wins it now, let it run through a couple people, and then Roman comes in and takes it. It's like, enough of the kids' games over there on Raw. Give me that thing. Give me that little fucking toy belt. Okay? For all we know, this isn't... Remember how we like picked apart like the look?
Yeah.
What if they were swerving us with that too? Like, what if they ended up letting this kick around till next year's WrestleMania 40. Roman wins it, and they got 3 belts now. And then there's a new belt. They combine all 3, and there's a new belt. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. It could happen.
Well, it could definitely happen.
But I hope they... I don't think they will give Roman the tag titles. I hope they do. I'm an AJ Styles guy, you know, Bullet Club. That's just how I roll. But because Seth Rollins to me was at his best when he was a bad guy with Triple H. Like when he was fighting Sting, right? When he turned his back on the Shield. Speaking of heel turns, that's when Seth Rollins was at his best. I don't know that I'm feeling what's going on now with him.
It just seems like it's directionless to me. It's like they change. It seems like they constantly, or they don't have something for him. It kind of feels like that, where you just constantly just stick.
He needs a heel turn.
Yeah,
but it needs to be like because he did kind of have a heel turn with Buddy Murphy, and he was Monday Night Raw and the Monday Night Messiah. Yeah. But it really wasn't. It wasn't ruthless, right? Like he needs to have a heel turn. I can't. I don't know. I don't have it either. They might not have it. I don't have it. But there's got to be something there. I don't know what they're building up to with him. Either way, here's what I hope they're building up to. I hope they're building up to give all of the titles to Roman Reigns. Like all of them. Why not at this point? Give him the tag titles. Let him win that other world championship.
Well, give him the tag titles is fun because just how he'll have to deal with the Usos.
Dude, then he beats Gunther for the Intercontinental title.
Everything.
They need to give him everything.
Everybody.
Who's got the U.S. title? Austin Theory.
Okay.
Beat his ass too. Like, give him all the titles.
Just pure dominance. Because then it's more fun when you take some away from him too. That's the other thing.
They won't do that, but they should do that. Right? Like just leading into WrestleMania 40, he just comes out with all
Full
the fucking titles.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's good. That's how they should do it. They probably won't. We'll react tonight at Champions when we jump back on here. What do you think? Couple more weeks. We'll jump back on. We'll see how the NBA playoffs go. But once the NBA playoffs are over, you get like the lull, right?
Yeah.
It's just baseball. People go on vacations. You know, you get the summertime you get into NFL training camp.
Yeah, it happens quick though. As soon as
next thing you know, it's NFL season beginning, right? Yeah. Slap fighting is resuming. You excited for that?
I don't know. I'm going to watch it tonight. I had to download the Rumble app because it got kicked off of TBS. So,
oh, did it?
Yeah.
Slap fight got kicked off TBS?
Yeah.
Why? Just because of
I don't think
the ridiculousness of it. I mean, I shouldn't be asking why like that.
I honestly think it's stemming from when he hit his wife. And I think if they had a chance to get out of it, then they would have. But it was at like the last moment of that. It was 2 weeks
You don't think
before.
that was a marketing ploy?
It's the worst one ever if it was. I think that if he didn't hit her, it would have been a great one. You just have a video of him getting slapped.
What if he's like, honey, it's going to be real light.
I need some promotion.
It's gonna be
what would Vince do?
I got a guy down there. He's going to pull his camera out. It's going to be light.
That was the worst. It was the worst.
Tough luck, obviously.
Yeah.
But could you
bad
imagine?
Decision. Just like a bad decision. It almost like put a little bit of a distaste in my mouth for him for a little bit. But then I got over it. I
don't think anyone watched that and was like, good for Dana White. Like, no one watched. But I say what I just said in jest.
No, I know, of course. But I was watching it trying to figure out how for him not to walk away. And then that went, because I'm like, if he leaves, I understand what he did is horrible, but if he leaves, what I like goes away. So I need Dana White to stay here for a little bit longer. And then it blew over.
So it's just on Rumble.
It's just on Rumble.
Is this going to be on YouTube still just because we mentioned that? Can you mention Rumble on YouTube?
I think so.
Yeah. We should go on
I think
Rumble.
I think it's gonna be on.
I have a Rumble account.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be on YouTube as well after, but it'll be live on Rumble.
Is Rumble like taken off? Is that, or is he like got ownership stake? Dana White.
I think it's better than all the other alternatives, but it's still not great.
Why? What's not great about it?
It's like a freedom network, which is good.
What do you mean?
Well, there's no censorship. There's nothing of that. That's like kind of its selling point.
No censorship?
Well, I don't know about no, but it's like they're not. If you talk about certain topics, you're not.
Yeah, like they're not going to try to like kill you and your family if you say Dr. Fauci's a fraud.
Yeah, exactly.
If you tell the truth and say Dr. Fauci's a fraud. Yeah.
Russell Brand jumped over there because he was having trouble with YouTube and stuff like that. So it's
I knew that. Yeah.
It's only it. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, but it attracts just people on the fringe. Also,
it attracts.
It is a lot of nutty conspiracies there. Like I only browsed it for like 2 seconds, but there's also normal people who are just like the history guy who I also watch on YouTube. He has a Rumble. I saw him. So it's like plenty of people use it. Normal.
It's just people who are fed up with
this
craziness that's going on in the world right now.
I don't blame them, but I also like to avoid them if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
I'm just not into it. But it looks good and it works good, so I'm actually gonna.
So the video quality is good enough where we could throw this on there.
Yeah,
okay, because we've said some things obviously that probably align a little bit more with what's going on over there than what's going on YouTube.
We've definitely had our moments. Yeah.
I'm not apologizing for those things. I think there's a lot of crazy shit going on in the world right now, and I don't agree with a lot of it.
And they're also just more open.
It is what it is.
Because like if YouTube was more open with how their policies work, I might even feel different because it's like it's their house. They can do it how they want. But everything is such secretive that you don't really know how the inner workings are working, who gets boosted, who gets muted. I don't know. If they were more open, I would feel different about YouTube. But
it is what it is. Well, maybe we'll toss it on Rumble. I don't know. We'll let you know. But for now, it's YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you get your podcasts. We're here every couple weeks. There's no set schedule. There's stuff in the works. We're still building Broadway Golf Club in Southie. I'm still fighting with people in this neighborhood about parking. It's a lot of the same stuff that's happening in my world. And then once Tom Brady gets back on the field in Vegas, it's going to be business as usual in my life. Watching Tom Brady on Sundays. All right. That's it. Paul, nice job as usual. And we'll talk to you next time. See ya.